So hey guys, it's Voice in the Fog again this side, and someone commented this very important thing on my videos, and I'm going to make a quick video about this, about the Main QBank. Definitely there's a huge lot of confusion about the Main QBank, whether you should follow it or not, and does it really benefit someone or not. Now let me tell you, since you asked this question or someone has asked this question and many of you want to know this and you are watching this video, definitely you are doing your NEET PG preparation, right? I think this is a very common sense question, but I think just hang on with me for a minute. I'll explain you. So you are definitely doing NEET PG preparation, isn't it? That means you are also right now, basically if you're watching this video, you have enough time, right? It's around August, right? So while I'm shooting this video, it's actually 17th August. So you have enough time for NEET PG preparation, or even okay, not for INI set, but NEET PG preparation. So especially this question focuses on your first read, right? So in first read, should we do our Main QBank? Now, if you're preparing for NEET PG, what is your target basically when you have like 6 to 8 months or maybe even basically 10 months with you in hand? What do you think is your target, right? Let me tell you first that 10 months is more than sufficient to get an All India rank 1. Do we understand this? Right now, if I don't think that you have 10 minutes in hand and you are so serious with your preparation and you have commented this thing, or you are basically watching this video to understand basically about the Main QBank, and you are not playing a small game like getting a 10k stuff, like at last I might understand many people who eventually start to give up, eventually might think ki 10,000 ke andar aa jaye, then it's more than sufficient. But I don't think right now you're thinking about right now your goal is somewhere or the other, or should be All India rank 1. That's it, nothing else, right? That means you can think about getting an under 100, because we all know that 1 to 100 is always a game of luck. Sometimes people who are scoring 100 rank in basically GTs and everything end up getting a rank 1, and sometimes who are getting a rank 1 in their GTs and everything end up getting a rank 100, right? So under 100 basically, or 1 to 100 should be your target, right? Max 1 to 500, right? So this should be your target right now. I'm not saying that what you will be getting after this doesn't matter, but this should be your goal and this should be your target, right? So when we talk about the Main QBank, what happens is that let's understand the GT psychology. So what happens in GT? Now, first of all, myth, very big myth, that GTs are very tough and actual NEET PG paper is quite easy. First of all, remove this myth, because like in the tough GTs, right, when we say that this GT was moderate to difficult, you for example, someone gets 130, right, just before the NEET PG exam, they get 130. Eventually they are going to get a 10 to 15 marks boost, right? But when the GTs are easy to moderate, right, so there are certain GTs which are easy to moderate, and we even call those GTs also difficult, and this 130 guy is actually scoring around 150 in those GTs. Trust me guys, you are going to score the same in your NEET PG exam, right? So the difficult GTs are truly difficult, right? You need to understand that difference. Not all GTs are actually difficult. Some GTs, or in fact I can say more than 50% of the GTs are actually NEET PG level only, right? So you need to understand that NEET PG is not that simple like you think. You'll just basically get into the water and swim across the English Channel. That's not going to happen, right? There will be a lot of waves and there will be a lot of tsunamis while basically giving the actual NEET PG paper, right? I have given NEET PG, I've given INI set, I've given UPSC CMS, I've given UPSC CMS twice. I know the pressure, and you know, like you make a lot of silly mistakes, many things don't click to you, you read the questions wrong, all these things happen. If you think that it's not going to happen with you, trust me guys, it happens with everyone, right? Everyone out after the exam, everyone has this list of how can I get this wrong, right? So you always basically get even the easiest questions wrong, right? You make a lot of silly mistakes out there. So in normal GTs you are not making these kind of silly mistakes, right? Or even if you're making, it's like quite less. So keeping that into consideration, you need to understand, because if you make silly mistakes out there in the exam, you can get even like -3 questions from whatever you could have got right? So you have to take GTs seriously first of all, right? Every single question, right? This time it was a Zasco's phenomena question was asked, right? So now fugue, this time it was asked. So the in psychiatry, right? I don't remember reading them in my rapid revision notes. I don't know if I might have a rapid revision notes of the previous edition, but these things actually make a difference, and these things actually basically cause ranks, right? So the tough questions of GTs are also basically very, very important. Now coming back to the GT psychology, which I was trying to make you understand that what exactly is the GT psychology. So you need to understand that with just rapid revision, you can score up to, you will get stuck between 120 to 130, and the reason for that is because at a particular point of time you only remember 50 to 60% or 60%, or if you're in the early reads you might even be at 40 to 50% bracket, right, of retention of the, I'm talking about the retention of the rapid revision notes. So many times you will be realizing when you review a GT that 20 to 30 questions you are just getting as like recall errors, that you have read it, but you have read it like 2-3 months ago, and that's why you don't remember it, but it was given in your rapid revision, right? But one thing is sure, like in the last few months before the actual exam, if you have revised your rapid revision, like I can say 3 to 4 times, then I can say that you can definitely do it under like 15 days, right? Of course, just reading the notes becomes eventually dry, but if it doesn't happens with you, then you can cover it in definitely 15 days. And in that scenario, your retention will shoot up to even 80 to 90%, right? Of course, 100% is very, very difficult. You have to achieve an 100% retention, you definitely have to basically write the volatile stuff in on sticky notes, or even basically make a 20th notebook. If you cannot make a 20th notebook, you can go for GT mistake notebook, right? 20th notebook, or I can say it is as a mistake notebook, right? In this, all the recall errors basically get down, which means you know that what are the things you are not able to recall well. So these are basically the volatile topics for you personally. So this is the easiest way to make a 20th notebook a mistake notebook, right? Okay, so this is where actually when you actually reach this much of retention, you actually start to score at around 150 to 155. Also, if you are making a mistake notebook, right, so previous GT questions also basically get actually repeated, and this way you can even cross 155, or maybe even get stuck between 150 to 155. Let's say basically you did not make a mistake notebook, you only made a 20th notebook from your rapid revision, so you will be at 150. If you know some previous GT questions and you revised it just before giving a GT, you can touch 155. That's it, not beyond that. Because if you talk about beyond that, right, you'd see that people can even touch 190 in the end out of 200 questions, the toppers, right? Otherwise they stay at 180 or at least 175 plus, right? So how are they able to basically stay at this point? It's because the QBank, right? The QBank specifically of the Marrow app, or any app if you're giving GTs, but mostly people give on Marrow app only. So QBank, the main QBank, it contains questions which is completely out of your rapid revision, right? And what you need to understand that as these are completely out of rapid revision, many people advise to completely skip them. No, right? So for the thing about first reading is, the best thing about first read is you have time and you can do everything, right? So now how you have to basically approach this entire QBank, let me clarify that. So when you basically solving the QBank, right, if you want to read main notes, you can go for it, definitely. You can go for main notes and basically keep RR by the side, and you can just rote learn your RR, right? Or you can rote learn your RR. I had done my main notes in my MBBS only, so I directly started with RR. I used main notes only for in the first read, only for patho, because I had to understand a few things. I had forgotten a lot of stuff. I had to do for BChem, I had to do for physiology, I did for anatomy, all these stuff. All these subjects I used basically main notes, but otherwise I had basically a good hold on other subjects, right? So you can rote learn your RR, but most importantly what you can go do is you definitely solve the entire questions. Now while you basically solve the QBank, the main one, what you do is you segregate into 3 parts. First part is definitely something which was given in a rapid revision, right? You just basically solved it, not even main notes, because after that you are going to revise your rapid revision only. Even if you read it in your main notes, but it was not in your rapid revision, I think right after basically you read a particular subject, right? Let's say you read patho, you know that what was written in the RR and what was not actually written in the RR, or if you read the main notes, then what was written in the main notes, or if you directly read RR, then what was not in the RR, right? So some questions will be will be directly from your rapid revision. Some questions will be the PYQs. They might be from your rapid revision, they might not be from your rapid revision, but these are the questions that you have to add it down to your rapid revision, no matter how weird the PYQ is, right? Doesn't matter. And also basically in the first week, what you have to do is that you have to mark whatever the questions have been there. For example, if something is asked like what is the most common site of aneurysm, so if these questions are asked, right, so you have to like for example is actually this, right? Okay, so what you have to do is you have to, if it has been asked in NEET, then you have to do this, right? You just have to do this, right? So while revising your notes, you will like, okay, you'll know that okay, this was the thing which was asked and actually NEET. So this way, even in basically last 10 days revision, what you'll do is just basically read the red parts of your page, right? So for example, this is your rapid revision page, this is red, and this is red. Only 3 points are important which have been previously asked. You just do this, uske aaspas ka you do, right? Otherwise you will be, I think, basically in a very, very good picture memory, in a very good state at that time, and you actually proceed. So this is how it is, right? Same way you can basically mark it as aims, right? If it was for INI, whatever tag, whatever you want to use, I used to use this thing, right? I used to mark it with aims. You can mark it with INI or something like that, whatever you like, but you have to mark it, because after this, trust me, you're not going to get time, right? And the third thing will be something which is completely out of your box, right? So it's going to be nowhere, right? It's not going to be in a rapid revision, neither is in PYQs. For this, you have to use a separate bookmark. What I used was that red colored star thing, right? This is the thing which you have to use. And any particular PYQ which is very, very important, which is more important than this particular bookmark, you need to use this bookmark, right? I use this bookmark. You can use whichever you want. This is a blueprint for you guys, right? So this way, while solving your bookmarks in future, you will know that first you have to do these one, and next you have to do these one. Okay, so this is the thing. Now what we need to understand is when we actually basically you get stuck at basically this particular point. Okay, this was this 155 point. When you get basically stuck at this 155 point, the only way to boost your scores actually beyond this is nothing but solve those star marked ones. Okay, so these are actually the star marked ones. Yeah, these bookmarks you have to basically solve, right? So when you solve these, this is a way that you can boost your score, because Marrow actually gives these kind of questions which are present nowhere, like less than 20% people got them right and everything and all. These are the questions which can actually bridge you the gap and can get you here. And many people will think that it's of no use because only PYQs, PYTs are asked. But trust me guys, just like I gave you the examples, right? Zuskus phenomena and dissociation, delusion fugue. It's a completely something which is not given in rapid revision notes. Okay, so these are a few this is why basically main QBank is very, very important. In future you don't have to do the entire QBank again. You just have to solve basically these questions. Also eventually some of these questions you will eventually realize that you don't need to look again and again, so you can eventually reduce your star marked bookmarks, but it will actually help you bridge the gap. And many people will think that why do we even need to do that? First of all, I told you about the weird examples which actually come, and it actually creates a big difference. Also, the guys who are actually scoring 175 now, they are able to land up in under 100 rank, but the guys who are here, they become a victim of the crowding, right? So they enter into the 5k, and even one single slip can put them down to 15k, which can mean completely getting out of the race, right? So under 5k you can get a under 5k you can actually get a very, very good branch at a very, very good college, right? But when you get beyond 10k, things become weird and very, very difficult, right? So this is what actually basically happens. And I don't know why, but I think that the reason is this only, for those weird questions and getting a sixth sense about the different questions, right? When you solve tough questions, you get a sixth sense what examiners want to ask, right? Also basically these main QBank questions are actually made from standard textbooks, right? Those origins of those particular questions are actually mentioned below the QBank, right? So the resources are already mentioned. So examiners, the NEET PG examiners or the INA examiners, where do they make the questions from? They make the questions from your standard textbooks only, right? So this is where actually they make the questions, and Marrow is already, or any QBank for that matter, is already working really hard just to give you that extra edge, so that they can predict what are the questions. They can be what are the questions can be asked, right? Even in BTR for Zainab ma'am, in Zainab ma'am's BTR, there is also this compiled module series for different textbooks like Parks and Robbins and everything, or a few more, right? So it really gives you an extra edge, which really helps you to break through this 5k or 15k barrier and get under 100 or even under 500. So that's why doing the Main QBank in the first year is very important, especially when you have more than equal to 6 months. Below that, strategy changes a bit. It's a completely different game. Still, you cannot lose hope, of course, but definitely doing the Main QBank gets you in the safe zone. And even if you are not able to complete it in the first read, that's completely fine. You can take it to the second read, a little bit of modules, but try to cover at least more than 80% of the QBank for each subject. Okay, subject wise, like let's say there are 50 modules, right? So you need to make sure that you do more than 80%, right? So you have to do 40 modules, 10 can be solved in the next read. Okay, so thank you guys, and if you've got any query, you can definitely drop down in the comments, and I'm always there to help everyone. Thanks.